feel like I do so many podcasts on Portland that we should just rename this to Dunk on Portland. And I struggle. I want to see Portland go. It's a cool town, or it has been in the past. It is on the struggle bus. Today's podcast is yet another one of these topics where so many of you are going to say, good, those stores shut down because you voted into office and you voted in policy. You defunded the police that made this crazy ecosystem where businesses can't operate. And that's literally what you've got going on in Portland. Today's podcast is on Green Zebra closing its stores after 10 years. They've had 3 stores, and what they are is they're kind of an organic, local producer, healthy mini mart. I love a good mini mart, but I don't think I want a health mini mart. I mean, go in and get yourself a really good sandwich. Okay, but can I get a Diet Coke with that? No, you can't, but you can get a strong kombucha tea. All right. To each their own. I'm okay with that. But coming out of the pandemic and the inflation, the way it's been, stores that have razor thin margins, like we're going to talk about, like a grocery store, like an organic mini mart, business wise, even if Portland didn't have all the craziness going on, even if they didn't have, a certain XYZ percentage of their profits walking right out the front door due to the shoplifting, even if they didn't have fewer people coming in because you got crazy people running around doing wacky stuff with swords and, all the stuff that, is going on in Portland and in Seattle and San Francisco and LA in certain areas of town. You put all these things together, and it's no wonder you've got so many businesses failing. But in Portland in particular, and we're just going to keep banging this drum because this is a reflection of policies put in place. And there are other areas of the country, other cities, other towns that didn't go down some of these roads, and they're doing okay. They have made it through the pandemic. Now, the pandemic in particular, tough on anybody in the food industry, right? You're open, you're closed. Okay, you can do this, you can't do this. All right, you're open, you're closed. Just this whole yo-yo. And yep, you're on unemployment. Oh, you're on not unemployment. We're hiring you back. Oh, unemployment. You do that enough times in an industry that was already on the edge. This is what you end up with. Let's read about Green Zebra closing its stores after 10 years. Here we go. Love to have you like this video. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell because we got content coming out at least twice a day, Monday through Friday, once on Saturday, once on Sunday. Also, check out our members only section. We got a couple of videos coming out a week there. That's content that you can't see anywhere else. Thanks for checking it out. Green Zebra, a Portland-based healthy convenience store, is closing its doors after 10 years in business. The 3 locations will be closed on March 31st. That's pretty abrupt because this story came out just a handful of days ago, right? The local grocer, founded in 2013, tried to redefine convenience stores. Instead of cigarettes, lottery tickets, and sugary drinks, Green Zebra was known to offer fresh produce, kombucha Zlurppees. Oh no, we got a kombucha Slurpee? Really? Okay, again, I'm not going to crush your taste buds, but that sounds terrible. Give me a good Coke Slurpee. Give me that sugar. I want that sugary Slurpee. I haven't had a Slurpee since I was a kid. And locally sourced meat. Do we need that in our mini mart? I thought that's what Trader Joe's was for. I thought that's what, the local butcher shop was for. Anyway, Green Zebra was going to try and do it. The store cites the pandemic supply chain and economy as factors in its decision to close down. I researched every single article I could on Green Zebra. I read the Green Zebra official stance on why they're closing down. They're going to be like Walmart and not specifically say, hey, we're going out because of so much shoplifting. They're not going to go down that road, as a lot of big corporate has not gone down. Walmart, if you followed that one, I had a video on that one do pretty good. I think I had like 70,000 views or something. A lot of people are like, Walmart, there's no more Walmarts in Portland. Oh my word, that's not good. And it's not. But this is what's happening to the retail ecosystem in Portland. You got all this craziness going on, and you've got underlying business, patterns happening, and you had the pandemic hindsight. It's going to impact. And that's, this is literally what's going on here. We've been holding on by a thread since the pandemic started and have been in an austerity mode since then, said Lisa Sedlar, Green Zebra founder and CEO. We experienced 9 straight quarters of increases to our cost of goods, packaging, fuel, insurance, taxes, freight, charges, and pretty much everything. Combine that with supply chain and staffing shortages and razor-thin grocery margins, we just couldn't overcome all the obstacles. We definitely gave it our all and fought the good fight. We are thankful for the opportunity to have been in service to our community. That is not even going into all of the factors that we talk about here regularly, which is retail is having a tough time in Portland. And specifically in downtown Portland, the locations of the Green Zebra, I believe, I'm going off memory here, they're in Northeast Portland, they're in Southeast Portland, and then they got one at, I think, Portland State University campus, something like that. So, they've got a handful of locations. And from my understanding, they have been a historically, strong portion of the local, not fast food, but convenience environment, I guess. I haven't ever been into a mini mart that makes sense, because you got to have such big profit margins on what little you sell, because your stores are smaller on a mini mart, right? They're just small. They kind of came out of the whole, we got a gas station here and our margins on gas are so small. What else can we sell and make a go of it? And then 7-Eleven was the first one to really go broad scale with the Southland Corporation and say, we're not doing gas. We'll do some stores with gas, but you've always had kind of the mom and pop mini marts. I love those where you go in, everything's just beautifully decorated and organized. And, there's some real pride, and you're going to pay $18 more than if you went to the grocery store for whatever item it is. But you feel good about it because you're supporting local, right? That's how I kind of imagine the Green Zebra. I imagine it as a woke green mini mart. No cigarettes, no Slurppees. What was that? Was it The Simpsons? Where they had the sales clerk at 7-Eleven. Would you like a penthouse with your Slurpee? You remember that? Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, because that's where you used to get your porn, right? I mean, you'd go to 7-Eleven, get a Slurpee and a porn. I don't know. I was too young for that. I did do a lot of Slurpees, though. A lot of Slurpees back in the day. They were delicious. And maybe the big gulp. Oh my gosh, 32 ounces for like $1. That was a deal. Get some caffeine there. Get some saccharin or whatever's in your diet drink. Yeah. All right. Championing local food and business, Green Zebra has partnered with more than 100 different local nonprofits over the years, including Black Food Sovereignty Coalition, Meals on Wheels, and PSU Food Pantry. Unfortunately, margins in the food business are so thin and the restaurant business are so thin, grocery stores even thinner, that unless you're just selling a crap ton, and you've got big margins, I can't imagine there's enough of a margin on this kind of stuff. And, you throw that in there with a bunch of nut jobs walking around and people stealing stuff from your stores. All of that goes together to create that, the lack of support in the ecosystem. Another store, I forget, it was more of a consignment clothing type store. It just shut down in Portland. And its owner said, hey, been broken into 19 times. We've had 19 incidents of theft, 19. And she was basically stating, hey, as hard as I work doing all this stuff for this store, and these people come in and I've tried all these different things to, dissuade them from stealing my goods, I just can't do it. I got to shut down. So you're having this is coming up on the regular. Nike, I just did a podcast on Nike in Portland. They shut down their store kind of abruptly and said, hey, they came back recently to city of Portland and said, hey, we'll pay for having your police in our store. We'll pay, but we need you to do us a solid. We're not going to open the store back up till you give us a couple of cops because we need some additional backup. That is how bad things have gotten in Portland, Oregon. They've just gotten out of control. Now, why do we have such an out of control organized retail theft, just theft in general? Well, it's because you've got homelessness everywhere, and that ecosystem is based on one thing, and that is drugs. And people need to be able to fund their drug purchases, right? So you go into a store, you rip off a bunch of stuff that you know you can resell. Guaranteed that kombucha Slurpee, somebody's going to buy that, a little bit of a discount down the road. Would you like a kombucha Slurpee? You know what I mean? It's not the Slurpees. It's the other stuff. I looked at a video and I think I even podcasted on it. This gal was coming out of I think it was a grocery store, maybe even a Walmart or something like that. Maybe it was a Target. She had an entire shopping cart full of meat. I mean, like big old steaks and roasts and all that, the good stuff. And she was like, her cart was full and she was literally throwing it into her cart. And, the store person was there saying, hey, you can't just steal this. And she did. Off she went with it. So, you'll see videos of people asking other people how much you want for that pot roast. I want $10. And they got it for free because they ripped it off. $10 is going to get them what? A day's supply of whatever pills they're smoking. And that's why you've got an issue. Homelessness issue out there is not because of lack of affordable housing. You've got some of that supply chain in the housing market. Yeah, we've been behind. But the vast majority of people living in the homeless encampments are there because of one thing, and that is the ecosystem of cheap, plentiful drugs. And they got to be able to fund it somehow. So they steal from local stores, grocery stores, mini marts, homes. Yeah, how many break-ins do you need to have before you go, oh, okay, here's what's going on. This is the dealio. We would appreciate it if our customers would continue to shop with us in the coming weeks as we wind down, said Sedlar. People often ask me if shopping local makes a difference. My answer is a resounding yes. Now more than ever, small businesses need our support. Thank you in advance for voting with your dollars to support local businesses. And I do that too. I find local businesses that I really enjoy, but knowing full well that in the big scheme of things, most local businesses are going to go under because they don't have the economies of scale to make it go. That is real estate. Another good example. My businesses operate because one of them's a niche market, real estate appraisal, and the other, I'm a small independent real estate brokerage, and we handle most of all of our stuff online, meaning we don't have a massive overhead with tons of office space. So we're a little bit of a niche, but we're local and it is tough to stay in business. You want to stay in business because that's what you do. Maybe it's your family legacy or whatever. I don't really ever give a crap about that, but I know a lot of businesses do. My grandfather founded this business in 1791. I'm making stuff up, but you know what I mean. But so many small businesses are going to go under because of the way economics are. And especially if you are paying a massive premium on your labor, meaning you have got a minimum wage that is XYZ and other areas don't have that, you're way behind. So, you got this workers of the world unite thing along with the realities of this is what it's going to take to make this business go. These are the dollar figures we can pay our people. Outside of that, we're a no-go. Can't do it because we can't raise our prices enough to cover all this stuff and have it make sense. And then you throw in to Portland, and some might say a bunch of downtown locations in downtown Seattle that have closed. I've covered that. How many stores have I covered in downtown Seattle that have said, no, we're not open for business here. This is a no-go because our employees are not safe. Half of our product is walking out the front door. It doesn't make sense for us to be here. And, the CEO of Walmart said as much not that long ago. He said there's two things that can happen. You can increase prices if you have a massive shoplifting deal, or close the store. This article didn't say anything about the other factors, but it's in Portland. Come on now. It's impacting things. The whole deal that we talk about here on News for Reasonable People of why Portland is being impacted so badly. That's impacting Green Zebra as well, right? Folks in Portland have voted policies in. They've voted, taking things that used to be felony crimes and making them misdemeanors. There's no reason, and there's no reason people shouldn't commit these crimes, because now it's a misdemeanor. And guess what? You're probably not going to even be busted for it, because the cops know that the district attorneys, they're not going to prosecute. Judges aren't going to convict people and keep them in the judicial system. You got a whole ecosystem in Portland and in San Francisco, and to a certain extent in Seattle as well, that has gone, we're going full circle. And this is the end result, is that you've got stores closing down willy-nilly. If you haven't been following my podcasts, other stores that have closed down are BJ's. Walmart is out of its last 2 stores in Portland. Rest of the state, yep, Walmart's going to operate 40-something stores, just not in incorporated Portland. The other areas outside of Portland, the suburban areas, yeah, strong go, but not in Portland proper. So you've got BJ's, you've got Stanford's, which was a nice steakhouse. It's gone. It's no longer doing its thing. You got Cracker Barrel, another big chain. It's closed down its doors and said on Hayden Island and Jansen Beach, they said, yeah, no go. So this is not unusual. Combination of all the business stuff going on, but in a large part and not specifically where these locations where the Green Zebra is. But, you got a couple locations in here that are tough locations too. Let's be honest. I mean, they're not, they're not exempt from everything going on in Portland, but in downtown Portland in particular, you've had just a ton of businesses not come back since the pandemic, because you got a handful of factors there going on. And this is happening in the downtown cores of a lot of cities because of that remote work, taking over, and, businesses, even just now, Amazon is telling its employees in here in Seattle that, we need you back in the office 3 days a week. Well, there's still 40% of those days that they used to be in downtown that they're not there. So you've taken, these these economic blocks away. And then you add in a bunch of shoplifting and a bunch of just, people running around that are whacked out of their minds because we're not putting people in mental institutions. And then you open up drugs. Hey, do all the drugs you want. We'll support you. We'll give you a tent. We'll give you whatever. We'll make this as easy on you as possible because we believe in you. When you're ready to get into some rehab, we'll be there to support you. That's literally how things have gone in Portland. But one of the byproducts is they're shutting down a lot of stores, businesses, restaurants, you name it. Is this going to end up like Detroit? A lot of people are saying it is. I don't think it's going to be as bad as Detroit, because you've got economics in Portland that are wildly different. Instead of car manufacturing, auto industry, you've got a lot of tech stuff. You got a lot of businesses there. Granted, a lot of them have left, and Oregon just recently, and Portland in specific, just had one of those population changes where instead of a lot of people coming in, they lost just a couple of thousand people. And then that is a massive, massive shift from where they've been in the past, which is, let's go to Portland. It's quirky. It's cool. Portlandia, keep Portland weird. All this Oregon stuff. And another interesting factor is that the counties adjacent to Multnomah County that are, right next to Multnomah County, the county that holds Portland, they are literally prosecuting double the amount of criminal activity than Multnomah County is. And Multnomah County, with its district attorney, is basically saying, hey, you know what? The police aren't bringing good enough cases. They're not bringing us enough evidence. We can't prosecute all these crimes. And it's like, no, you already decriminalized everything. You don't have enough cops. We know how this game is played. We know how this system goes. And then your store shut down. Whether it's economics is what they're going to claim. Walmart, it wasn't profitable enough. Walmart claimed profitability. Even though Walmart corporate came right out with their list of stores, the two in Portland were not on that initial disclosure. They weren't. It was kind of like, it was a tail end deal. It's like, oh yeah. And you know what? Those two in Portland, we're closing those down as well. Move along now. Nothing to see here. Move along now. That's kind of how it went. And then guys like me are like, wait a minute. What's the last two stores in Portland? You are creating a food, economical shopping, and prescription desert for the folks that live in these areas in Portland. So without a Walmart, you may not have a lot of options that people can afford. So that's where this really impacts things. And yet the residents of Portland are still, going down the road of, what happened here? I don't get it. I don't understand. Why are all these stores closing down? Well, you created a system where it's not economically viable for them to continue to operate in your marketplace. Make that vote count, right? Make that vote count. But I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're anywhere close to that yet. I really don't. I talked to a lot of folks in Portland. They're like, yeah, going to need to see some more pain before this gets worse, which it will. And then maybe some people will start to turn things around. But you know what? I think there's a certain segment of the population that are okay with it. I don't care if Walmart's not here. I don't care if we've got a food desert going on here. We like our policy. We like our woke, get broke approach to things. We're okay with that. You guys can all F off. I think that's a lot of what's going on as well. So don't feel sad for Portland. Feel sad for people in Portland that recognize it for what it is and don't have a way to get out. There's a lot of folks like that. Just up and moving, not everybody can do that. But a lot of people have. And I think moving forward, you'll see a lot of people that will continue to do just that. All right, that's it for me. Green zebra bites the dust in Portland. All right, catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.